we go. It is the Saturday after Good Friday and before Easter. We talked a little bit about the holiday yesterday and the fact that I grew up celebrating it as a Christian. Oh, my pants are gone now. It's almost time to make new armor. Do we have anything to sort? So I think today we're going to talk a little bit more about it. I had a couple ideas, but also I was listening to a song that I used to listen to a lot around the Easter and Good Friday kind of moments, and maybe let's fill in the creeper holes during the day, and then keep lighting up the village at night. Yeah, so there's a artist named Andrew Peterson. He's a Christian artist, but he does storytelling in a very interesting and compelling way, and he has some albums about Easter and Good Friday, Jesus' death and resurrection, that I used to listen to a lot, and I still listen to sometimes, even though I wouldn't consider myself a believer in the story's truth anymore. But I was listening to one of the songs in particular again that I really liked. Where are the creeper holes? I could have sworn there were multiple. Let's just run around till we find them. But here's one. Yeah, the song I'm talking about right now is called, let's see, I wanted to read a quote from it, so I should probably do that right now. It's called God Rested by Andrew Peterson. And basically, if any are unaware, I think I'm going to be butchering this, so take my words with a grain of salt, but this is what I remember from my upbringing. And even my upbringing probably could have had flaws in its teachings when it comes to truth, but back in the day, the Sabbath was observed, and you weren't supposed to do a lot of work on the Sabbath. That is to say, one day a week, you're supposed to not work and mark it as a holy day. And they even had really specific rules at certain points in history in the Jewish faith / practice that said you could only take a certain amount of steps, and even on the Sabbath. Maybe you're not supposed to eat certain things maybe on the Sabbath. It's stuff like that. And I think it has its root in the fact that in the creation story in the Bible's Genesis, book of Genesis in the Bible, God created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day of the week, he rested. He didn't work at all. He stopped creating and saw that his creation was good. Where are the other creeper holes, is my question. And this song that Andrew Peterson wrote is about how Jesus died on a Friday, and Saturday was the Sabbath back in the day. And supposedly Jesus rose on Sunday, meaning he was still on the 7th day, on the Sabbath. And this song is kind of about that, about how in an homage almost to the creation story in Genesis, Jesus died, finished whatever his work was, and rested on the 7th day before starting a new week and a new life, rising from the dead on Sunday. And got me almost tearing up a little bit, this one stanza from it. I'm going to read the whole thing. Let's just get a view of this beautiful vista while I'm reading it. And this is referencing all the people that followed Jesus and liked him and believed in him back when he was around, and probably followed him or liked his teachings. So they laid their hopes away. They buried all their dreams about the kingdom he proclaimed, and they sealed him in the grave, as a holy silence fell on all Jerusalem. But the Pharisees were restless, and Pilate had no peace, and Peter's heart was reckless. Mary couldn't sleep, but God rested. I don't know enough about all the different characters that are listed in the second half there. Mary, for most people probably know who are familiar with the basic Christian teachings that Mary is Jesus' mother. The Pharisees were high up Jewish religious officials and teachers, question mark? I don't know if they were teachers. I've forgotten so much about the lore, if you will. Peter is the one I know the least about. I forget what which character Peter was. Judas was the one who betrayed Peter. Was Peter the one who doubted? So maybe, this whole kind of stands as about how everyone was, they're starting, they lost hope because they thought, at least in this version of the story that Andrew Peterson is telling, they thought he promised something beautiful, a new life, and all of his promises were made naught with his death. They fully thought he was just dead. Which the second line is, they buried all the dreams about the kingdom he proclaimed. Which is the line that really got me. Yeah, they laid their hopes away was the first line. Food. And Pilate was the government leader at the time? What was he? Of the local area? I don't totally remember. But he's also in the story. I don't know enough about it to comment on that one, so I guess I should probably not talk about it. But the Mary couldn't sleep one is the one that really grounds the whole situation. The fact that Jesus was the son of a woman. And her son died, you know? She couldn't sleep, but God rested because God knew, or Jesus knew, in theory, if you subscribe to the divinity of it all, that this wasn't the end. And he was resting before a new world arrived. And then the very last stanza of the whole song, it ends on a level of dissonance, and then this song leads into another song that is the first song on the album about Easter and the resurrection. This is the last song on an EP about Good Friday, basically, or the times leading up to Christ's death. And it ends on a level of dissonance melodically, but the last stanza even is like a half a stanza. It goes, the sun went down, the Sabbath faded, the holy day was done, and all creation waited. Feels very epic. Because it's almost, yeah, all creation, the whole world anticipates. There's something in the air, beginning of something new. Maybe something wonderful. And I really like the idea of that. That there's the promise of something more. Something beautiful to come. And everyone had lost, Jesus, his way, his teachings, had given these people hope in a way that they didn't have it before. With his death, it seems that all is lost. It's kind of a classic story trope. All is lost right before the sun rises or whatever. I think the night is darkest before the dawn or something. So yeah, I just wanted to chat about that. I listened to the song and I'm like, oh wow, it was really moving. Even though I don't believe in the truth of it anymore. Did I get most of the holes? I think I might have. There's one other related thing I wanted to chat about that is also related to yesterday's topics. Yesterday I was trying to talk about if I were to try to imagine a theology. Oh, whoa, that's pretty. That I found compelling. A version of the Christian story that I thought was cool, or that I would like to believe in these days. was trying to think of the different possibilities that would compel me. And I thought of one that was interesting. I don't think it's like the only good one, but I thought of an interesting one I wanted to chat about. Is it creeper hole? Hard to say. So I want to talk about that one as I get some wood and then maybe keep lighting the village up once it's dark. That cow's been there forever. I feel like I should save him. Save him. Come on, buddy. Hop on out. So what was the version of the idea, so I don't forget it? Oh yeah. I liked there's different atonement theories, so people have different theories about what the purpose of Jesus' death is. The most widespread one, especially in the area and culture that I grew up in, was that he died to save the world from its own depravity, save man from his own sins. But I feel it could be an kind of interesting story or way of thinking about it. And this is heretical, so brace yourself. But I like the idea of God dying to atone for his own wrongdoings. So he saw the world that he created. He felt responsible for it. He saw the suffering in the world, which kind of the biggest problem with religion probably is the problem of suffering. Some people call it the problem of evil. They're kind of different versions of the same thing. So basically, why the good God exists, why is there suffering in the world? I like the idea of Christ being the ultimate answer to that question. That's kind of how people want to view Christ in most theologies. They want to see him as a pivotal moment in one way or another. I like the idea that God noticed that he had the suffering that he created from even his past actions interacting with humanity, but also just in creating the world in the first place. Creating the world in such a way that it would allow it to become as it has. It would allow so many to suffer. The universe's laws, at the hands of the universe's laws. So we incarnated into physical form, first to understand the suffering of people, and then to give them their vengeance, which is the reason he would die. So he knew that the world was groaning for vengeance on the first being responsible for all of its suffering and problems. And he said, I'm gonna let them kill me because I deserve it. And they deserve it. It is only natural that they would crave vengeance on me. In classic Jesus serving fashion, God decides to let man have their vengeance. But the story doesn't end there. Of course, he rises from the dead too. And in this version of my theology, what is the purpose of God rising from the dead? I have a couple fences left, I guess. Let's look around to see what needs lighting. I need to light this path up here. Let's do it. Pretty. I wrote one sentence that I think is kind of the thesis for this atonement theory of mine, which I found really compelling. No. I'm trying to find a way to work my way up to that thesis. Maybe I should just say it and see where we go from there. Basically, I like the idea that what all I said was true, that God had remorse for his actions, wants to do right by the world and change in a manner, that would allow him to start carving a better world out of the world. A better world for the people out of the world that was failing to be one up until then. So I like that he dies and allows man their vengeance because he is thoughtful enough to believe that he was wrong, true remorse. He feels sorry for everything he's done, but that the story doesn't end with man just killing him. The story ends with him rising from the dead, and as I wrote in my notes app, with him rising from the dead, he says, the action of him rising from the dead says that man's justice will not consume him. I mean, man's vengeance will not consume him. With his resurrection, he says, you may have your justice. Well, yeah, you may have your justice, but your justice will not end with the death. It will end in a rebirth into a world more worthy of you, into a world more beautiful. And I like that. I feel like that's a good foundation for something. I didn't articulate it, didn't nail it, but I think you get the vibe I'm going for, at least. This is good enough. Do one more over like here. This is kind of dangerous is what this is. Do one more here. Yeah, so I really like the idea that, yeah, God lets mankind kill him. Because he sees it as the just thing to do. But then he rises with a message that this is not how it ends. Says, yes, you were wronged by me nonetheless. You will have your vengeance, but you will have more as well. That was dangerous. I like that. I like that as the foundation for theology. Maybe some of you get what I'm going for. Alright, let's look out over the village before we go to sleep. I think it's decently lit up. I want to put one more post down there. But I think this is good for now. I'll have to think about what else I want to do. So I'm kind of out of things to do on my list of to-dos in the world, so we'll have to brainstorm what we want to do next. Maybe we'll fill out the map a little more in the meantime while we're thinking about it tomorrow. But that'll do it for today. Yeah, happy Saturday after Good Friday / before Easter Sunday. I think there's a name for it, but I don't know what it is. See everyone tomorrow, perhaps with a resurrection.